creating a frequency distribution. What if I want to do a different kind of analysis? So in this case, instead of just basic descriptive statistics, I want to do frequency distributions. In other words, how many -3 gap scores do I have of all of my data, and so on. Again, I want to go into the Data tab and select Data Analysis. This time I'm going to go down until I find Histogram. Once I have selected histogram, I can click OK. And it's asking for a number of things here. First of all, it's asking for a chart range as far as an input. But then it's also asking for a bin range. We have yet to create our bins. In this case, bin is simply something to throw the various values into. We need to create that. So let's cancel and go back to our situation here, and let's create some bins. The possible scores, the lowest possible score is a -4. The highest possible score is a +4. If you want to understand why that is, go back to how the gap score is created in the first place. Basically, positive would be a +2 subtracting a -2. In any case, let's start with entering a 4. Actually, I'm sorry, let's move that down and put a label with that and call it gap. And under gap, then we have a 4, and then, like I said, each one is, I'm going to do a formula, equals 4 minus 1. And I'm going to just take that and drag that down. And I haven't gone far enough. -1, -2, 3, 4. So I now have created a range. And so what's going to happen, this is my bins. It's going to go through here, and every time it finds a -2, it's going to put it in the bin for the -2s, and so on. So now we can go back to Data Analysis, Histogram, click OK, and now we can do both an input range and a bin range. So what is my input range? Well, I'm going to do gap scores, Shift, holding down Shift, I press Enter, and then I press the down arrow. That gives me my input range. Where's my bin range? I'm going to click there, and I have to come out to my sheet and do Control Home, and here are my bins, and I have a label, so I'm going to highlight the bins including the label, and of course check mark here that I have labels. Label, but you get the point. And for an output range, I'm going to click on Output Range, and I'm going to click in here, and let's just put it right here. Let's just put it right beside our bin range. I could put it over top, but that would be confusing. So let's just put it right here. And we want chart output, so I check mark chart output. Click OK. And here we have the bins being written in, and then there's a more, just in case I had something past the range, which I don't. And here we see our frequency. There's really a heavy weighting to the middle, which is also visible on our histogram. I'm going to move my histogram right over here. I'm going to eliminate this because I no longer need it. And let's take and fix our histogram so that it's the way it's supposed to be. Of course, we don't call it a histogram for our purposes. We call it a frequency distribution. Now, this is not going to make your stats professor happy if you leave it like this, so we have to do some modifying to this. What we're going to do is try right-clicking on these and format the data series, and where it says gap width, we want to make that 0. That now is a proper distribution. And down here we'll simply say gap scores for, oops, I'm sorry, up here for this label, let's add a second row, and we'll call this for experiencing adventure. That could be formatted to a different size so that it doesn't take up quite as much space. Perhaps there, like that, and we can make it larger this way. That now looks to me like a successful demonstration of creating a frequency distribution for experiencing adventure.